You're watching Power Media Network.
I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't. Cause I got better things to do. Rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey. Welcome to this week's episode of Nicole D. Vick Live. I am Dr. Nicole D. Vick. I'm still getting used to saying that. And actually giving myself permission to allow people to call me that. I'm like, oh, yes, Dr. Vick. Yes. But anyway, I'm happy to have you here. Happy Friday, Junior. You know, this is the video podcast where I go live almost every Thursday. Sometimes I don't, but for the most part, I do. To give you important topics about the Black community with a social justice, public health perspective. I'm so very excited to have you here. Last week, I was talking to y'all about how July 4th, plus me falling and breaking this dang on ankle, really got me thinking about independence as I age. And then, of course, broader scope, right? Black women as we age. And in my research, I found this article about solo agers. And it was really interesting, some of the challenges that Black women face that put them at a disadvantage as they age. And the funny thing about my life is once I see something or catch up, my eye catches a thing, I feel like that's all I see. And things start to kind of fall in place. And the crazy thing is, as I was prepping for that episode, there was an email that popped up into my inbox from a good friend, which you will get to meet in a second. And the title of this email was Independence is So Yesterday. And I was like, wait a minute, I was over here focused on independence because I was no longer I was dependent, right? I have to rely on people to help me do everything. I cannot leave my house by myself. Like the way my house is set up, there's stairs and stuff. So if I want to go outside, I have to have help. I need the help of a wheelchair to get around. So I'm so focused on independence. And literally the title of her email was Independence is So Yesterday. And I was like, wait a minute, what's wrong with independence? And so I thought, let me bring her on because we need to have this conversation, reflect on what I was talking about last week in this research study. And then also like, why is her email saying these things? Why are you saying these things? Right. And I know there's a lot of gems in her thought process around that. Super excited to have her on. But before we go on to that, I want to share with y'all, because I'm on this thing. One of the bad things about being at home and being by yourself and kind of in your own head, you start shopping. And so I've had this necklace. My daughter bought this one. This says Style Vixen. This is from back when I thought I was going to be a fashion blogger person. and I ain't doing that. But I bought this one, a number charm. You know, look, if you play sports, you might get something like this. This says 97, but if you look closer, which I know you can't really see, it says Andrea. And that was the year I had my daughter, 1997. And then this one, because you know I love Kendrick and that whole "They Not Like Us" song. Oh, that's my. I mean, come on. So you know, on Etsy, I hope you all know what Etsy is. It's like a marketplace for crafters and all sorts of people that make their own things. But you can buy these necklaces. Now, the intention of these necklaces is if you have children, I guess, or family members that you care about, you put their names on the necklace. But you know, that's not what I did. I went in there and bought a custom necklace and I said, first name they, second name not, third name like, last name us. So this necklace says they not like us and never will be, but that's another conversation for another day. So be like me and make custom necklaces and earrings. Go to the swap meet, go to Etsy, get your custom jewelry, get your name on stuff. It's a fun thing to do. And I think it just really makes you feel like, you know, this is me and a way to represent who you are outward to the world. So I just had to share that because I be doing my own thing over here sometimes. Anyway, let's bring on Miss Shirley Hubbard of Shades of Strong podcast. I want her to come on through so we can have this good old conversation. Hey, friend.
How you doing?
Well, I'm all right. I'm not gonna rant today. I'm gonna lead a rant, and that was last week. We just gonna push through and push forward. But for the most part, honestly, I'm okay. And I think people have said that to me, Nicole, you know, we know what you're going through, but for you to be able to be okay for the most part, it says a lot about who you are. So I'm all right. You know,
All right, girl.
It's gonna be okay. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be
so
here.
Excited. Right, because I know I've been on your show, but I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I have not been the good friend because you should have been came on mine. So here you are.
Yes.
Can you remember how we met? Because I don't, and I feel
Girl, I
before
was
you
actually
say
thinking
how.
about that today. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, so and I was about to say, to me, that's a good thing. When you can't remember how you met somebody, that's a good thing because that means that in some sense in your head, that person has always been there. That's how I feel.
Yes,
like if I can't remember how I met you, then we in good company.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I know it was somewhere online. I don't know how we crossed paths. I don't know how I ended up reaching out to you, asking you to be on the podcast. Like I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know at the time that I reached out to you, you were doing your fashion stuff. And I was very impressed by it. But other than that, because girl, you be slaying. But other than that, I honestly don't remember. I don't remember.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Now you have your own podcast. Can you talk a little bit about why you started it and sort of the whole purpose? I want to make sure people understand why you started your podcast and what you're doing.
Okay, so the name of the podcast is Shades of Strong. And I started it I think I started back in 2018. But when the thought initially came to me, and I always say God dropped it in my spirit, I was going through a really traumatic time in my life. And I remember being in my bedroom, just kind of like pacing back and forth in my room because I was so frustrated about everything that was going on. And I threw something and it hit the wall. And so my daughter came in and she was like, "Did you throw something?" And I said, "No, something fell." And so in that moment, it hit me. I asked myself, why did you lie? Why did you lie and say that something fell rather than telling the truth about, you being frustrated and upset about, these things that are happening in your life? And so then from there, I text a couple of my friends. We were in a group chat. And I said, y'all know what? I want to start a podcast about dismantling the myths and the stereotypes around the strong Black woman. And so that's how it was birthed. That's how it was conceived in my spirit. And that was about in 2017. I started it in 2018. And I initially started it because I wanted Black women to be able to get in touch with their emotions, and not be ashamed to say what's really going on with them. And so what's this, 6 years later, we are still here. We are doing the work to support Black women in releasing overwhelm. We are doing the work in supporting Black women to create what I like to call a me first life, where we are taking ourselves from the bottom of our list back to the top of our list where we belong. And the work I do, oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. My primary goal is to get Black women to a space where we'll talk about that later because that's going to come up in the topic. But my goal is really for us to prioritize ourselves and redefine what strength and independence looks like for us.
Amazing. And it's an amazing podcast. I was a guest. I forgot what I was talking about. It was something about releasing the cape, that strong Black
I think
woman.
you talked about uncaping the Black female body.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So I love what you are doing. And again, it's so funny how life is, because I'm in here worried about my independence because my mobility has been challenged. So I'm just focused on that. And then I see this email from you. It said, wait a minute. It said independence is so yesterday. And I was like, hold on. What's wrong with independence? So we got to talk about that, and I'm gonna let you talk about that, and then we're gonna go to commercial, because I was like, wait, and it's funny because again, I'm focused on independence because I can't move like I want to move. But
right,
girl, that email said to me, baby, you worried about the wrong thing, Nicole. So talk about why that email was titled that, and what is that idea about?
The email was titled that because I was getting ready to do something like this with somebody else, and I was inviting my list to come to join me. But I titled it that, number one, because I knew it was joke people to attention, like it did you. And then number two, because I was thinking about that song. I can't remember the artist right now, but INDEPEND. Do you know what that means? That I was thinking about that, and then the lyrics to it, and I was just like, yeah, all of this is so yesterday. But I want to be abundantly clear. I am not saying that there is something wrong with being independent. Okay. From the moment we exit our mother's womb, we are all striving for independence. Independence does not become a problem until it becomes excessive, until it becomes extreme. Like, for instance, you broke your ankle. If you were at home, you broke your ankle and you're in pain, and you need somebody to do some things for you, run some errands for you, maybe go grab some groceries and things for you, are you going to sit at home and be hungry and in pain? Or are you going to ask somebody to help you? You see what I'm saying? And so some of us are living our lives from this place where that we have been taught that asking for help and tapping into our vulnerability is a sign of weakness. And so now we've taken on this cape, and we're trying to do all the things by ourselves, and we were not created for that. And so when I say that independence is so yesterday, I mean that independence is so yesterday, because we don't have to do it the way our parents and our grandparents do it. We don't have to do it the way our ancestors did. Our ancestors did it because they did it out of necessity. It was a survival mechanism for them. But we live in a new era. We don't have to do life that way. So I want to be clear. I'm not saying that independence is a bad thing. I'm saying that independence on steroids is a bad thing. And so my goal with Shades of Strong is to get us to a place where we are living life from the space of interdependence, because that's the healthy balance. Yeah, we know we can do all the things. We know we can do it, but we also know we don't have to. And we also know that if we need help, it's okay to ask for it. So that the balance is, yeah, I can do all this stuff by myself. I don't want to. So if somebody is offering you support, then don't be afraid to accept that support. So that's why I said that independence that way is so yesterday.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think, honestly, that's something that I had to deal with, right? I'm used to doing everything. I live by myself. Me and Mew Mew the cat is in this house. That's it. So everything is my responsibility. And so it was hard when my mobility was, I can't get around. I'm like, I gotta ask somebody to come pick me up, or who gonna take the trash out? Who gonna feed Mew Mew? Because when I first got injured, all I had was crutches. You can't do a lot with crutches trying to run behind a cat. So it was like, so I had to get over that. I had to say, okay, Nicole, you're gonna have some of this stuff you're gonna have to let go of. You're just gonna have to. There's no other way around it, right? And let people help you and be okay with that. So I totally get it. So we're gonna go to commercial, and then we're gonna come back and talk about what I found in that research study around solo aging and sort of the conversation around independence and interdependence. I think that'll be a great part 2. So let's go to break.
Elevate your entertainment with Watch Vim. Discover the ultimate online streaming destination. Get an auto-renewing monthly subscription for unlimited content on all devices. Join us in supporting a Black-owned streaming platform that brings top-tier entertainment. Let the streaming excitement begin at Watch Vim, your seamless experience for endless entertainment. Stream online or download the Watch Vim app now.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19, but their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
Catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bulletin Flight Radio.
Are back. Yay. Woo woo. All right. So last week I talked about this article I found where this lady named Elizabeth White interviewed 15 Black women. They were between the ages of 54 and 73. She called them solo agers. So these are Black women that either are unmarried, like never been married, or maybe their spouse passed away or they got divorced. So they're aging alone, right?
Right.
And there were some barriers or some things that made it difficult for these Black women to be, I'm going to say, financially stable as they age. And I'm going to mention some of them. I'm looking at my little notes. Lower marriage rates, the gender pay gap, occupational segregation, so which means that you kind of are not able to advance in a role, you kind of are stuck into a specific position. Educational attainment, because we know that educational attainment oftentimes leads to higher paying jobs. Caregiving, so in a lot of Black families, the Black woman is the primary caregiver for the entire family, like everything is on her. And then even our health, like some of the like high blood pressure and some of those other things really are barriers to independence and self-sufficiency as Black women age. So what it says here is Black women are more likely to enter their retirement years alone, in poor health, with lower lifetime earnings, less wealth, little to no savings, and reduced Social Security benefits. And as the main or primary household earner, many also may have heavy family responsibilities. And I feel like in some instances, not only are they taking care of their children, they're taking care of their parents. Like they're right in the middle. Like the parents are aging, so they're trying to help them and then their kids. Any thoughts on any of this stuff? Like, have you thought of any of this?
Oh my gosh. It's so layered, first of all, because I say it's layered because there are a lot of systemic changes that need to happen. And even though I feel like we have made some strides in those areas, there's still a lot of work to do. And so when you get to thinking about us aging, I think the most important thing that we can do for ourselves, even now, I'm 55, so I'm right there in that group that she's talking about. I think the most important things that we can do for ourselves, number one, is to embrace this me first life that I've been talking about. And that is where we are prioritizing our overall well-being, from our physical health to our mental health to our emotional health. But those things have to be priority. Number two, we have to lean on support and community. And not only that, but I don't really want to get into politics, but we got to vote for people that will implement policies and that will make the changes that we need to see coming to fruition, so that as we are aging, we don't have to worry about these things. Because think about it, Dr. Nicole, think about it. We have been paying into Social Security for decades. But by the time we retire, there may not be any benefits for us to reap. And not only that, but even if you have a savings account and you've been saving for years, the current economic state of the U.S. is in a place where it really won't make a difference. The cost of living is so high, and that's why you see so many of us still working way past retirement age. That's why you see a lot of us, even when we've retired, we end up going back into the workforce, because we live in a capitalist world where money rules everything, and dare I say everybody. Like, seriously. And so I think what we need to do is we need to start creating our own. We need to start creating our own. And then we need to align ourselves with people who can integrate policies and make changes from a systemic point, from a systemic place. But not only that, but when it comes to, like you were talking about, our grandchildren and raising our grandchildren, and sometimes we're caring for our parents and the children at the same time, and then we're aging. That's where community support comes in, because we are so accustomed to doing all these things on our own. And I know finances play a huge role in it, because maybe you're not able to hire support, for your mom, or put them in a place where they'll get round the clock support. But that's where you lean in on your family members and your friends and your community. That's where all of those things come to play. But as Black people, we have this mindset where I don't need nobody.
Right.
And I'm gonna do it myself. Or not just that, but I don't want to owe anybody. And so I'm going to try and figure this thing out on my own. We cannot continue to live from that space and expect to prosper. We cannot continue to live from that space and expect that we are going to be able to provide for ourselves as we're aging. We are not islands. People need people. We got to get to a point where we are not afraid to lean in on that support. And so if we want to remedy all of those barriers that she's talking about, I personally believe that it starts with community support. And community is going to look different for all of us. For some of us, it's going to be our friends. For others of us, it's going to be family, things like that. But I think that is the thing that's going to save us in the end.
I absolutely agree. And I talk about community a lot in any space that I'm in. I remember when I started school, this doctoral journey, people were like, well, how do you survive? What did I say? Get into community. Find the people in that program that are near you, that you can go sit. Y'all working on totally different dissertations, but you can sit in that library together and just feed off the vibe that y'all all sitting there and work together and get it done. So I agree with you. I think community is the answer for all of our problems, honestly. I just feel like, unfortunately, and I'm not going to say this, like, oh my God, all of us have this mindset, but I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of us have bought into the capitalism as Black people, because we want to be, we want to be financially stable. We want to be comfortable. But I think because we bought into it so much, we have bought into the idea of what you just said. Oh, I got this. I can do this by myself. I got it. It will run ourselves ragged. We'll burn ourselves out. The difference is when Chad, does it. Chad's income, he can go to Bali and reconnect and rest. Rebecca can go to Thailand for 2-3 weeks and rest. We don't often have those outlets to rejuvenate ourselves, and so we literally burn all the way out, and we end up high blood pressure, stroked out, heart attack, right? So it's like, you're right, we have to go back to, and I feel like my great grandparents and grandparents were like that. I feel like they knew their neighbors. They hey, we got to get back to that community sense of we are responsible for each other. And I know there are some communities that are like that in among Black folk, but I think we need to be more intentional with that.
Yes.
Because you're right, that I think will ultimately be the thing that saves us, because then you don't have to worry, where's grandma going? Oh, grandma can't stay by herself.
Somebody gonna take care of grandma.
Right.
Somebody gonna take care of grandma.
Yeah. Cousin, I'll come move with grandma because I need to be over here anyway. It's close to my job. I can stay with grandma and watch her, or whatever it is. Like you said, we need somebody to watch the grandkids. Oh, Whoopty Whoop can come do it. She's a preschool teacher. She'll come watch the kids. We got to get back to that. And I think it does start with something as simple as, who are the people around you that you can rely on? And it can be hard. Like I told you, it was hard. I was like, but I had to ask. Like if I don't, like you said, if I don't ask for the help, how am I eat? Because I couldn't. The first couple of days, I'm like, I only have crutches. I can't cook nothing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But one thing that I have found very helpful for myself is I've made a list of people who can support me in various areas. I call it like my SOS toolkit, who can support me in various areas. So if I got a friend that I know she can cook good, she don't mind cooking, bam, if I can't prepare my own meal, I'm going to contact her. If I have a friend, if I need a listening ear, I'm not going to call somebody that can't listen. I'm going to call somebody that's willing to listen. Like, some people aren't good listeners. I don't mean that in an ugly way, but some people aren't good listeners. So I have people that I know without doubt can pour into me when I can't pour into myself. I have people that can cook a meal for me. I have people that don't mind coming to clean. And so I have that list readily available, because a lot of times when you are in the thick of a thing, you can't think of the people who can help you. So if you got that list for you, pull out your little list and you're like, oh, I'm hungry today. I'm on crutches. I can't cook. I'm going to call so-and-so, and she going to prepare. Or I need somebody to run to the grocery store for me. Those things matter, especially as we're aging, because, the mind ain't what it used to be.
That's true too. Very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true. And I think the last thing I'll say about that is I also think for us as Black women specifically, I think we're pretty good at this, but we probably could be better. We got to start speaking up more and talking more and sharing just a little bit more. I know some people don't like to share their business, but the reason why I say that is when I said, oh, I broke my ankle, y'all. I was on Facebook. I broke my ankle. People that I had not even met in person before. Oh, what's your cash app? I'm sending you some money. And it wasn't $20.
Thank you. Yes.
It wasn't $10.
Yes.
50,
yes.
70, 100.
Yeah.
$100. Here, go get you some food. What do you need? What you need me to do? I'm going to Costco. You need me to go get you something? So it's like, I feel like also, yes, to your point, know who your tribe is, who your people are, but also don't be afraid to just say like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me. And I you don't even have to say I need help. This is happening to me. People typically will show up for you. The other thing about that, and then if I'm gonna be quiet, you also have to be the person to show up for other people. So you can't be the person that don't show up and then be mad when nobody shows up for you. Like you have to show up for people, and then that is reciprocated to you. Don't expect you never do nothing for nobody and mad because nobody sent you the gift card for some food when you were sick. You got to also make sure you're being, somebody told me, make sure you're also depositing into the friendship account and not always withdrawing.
Absolutely. You have to be the friend you want to experience, Absolutely. You have to. And girl, I am such a firm believer in reciprocity. You pour into me, I'll pour into you.
Yeah.
That really is what it's all about.
Yeah. And so as we kind of close out, because these episodes go fast, ma'am, as you can see, how do we navigate? And I think you've already said it. You talked about community. Are there other tangible steps for Black women as we solo age? Because the one thing they talked about, lower marriage rates, and I'm like, oh, so I need to get married. But it's like, not necessarily, because again, he could become disabled. He could die before I do. And so I'm still a solo ager, right? So like, what are the things that we should be thinking about? One thing it sounds like is trying to find a financial planner to have conversations about our money. And
those are things that we're not comfortable doing that. We're not comfortable. We're not comfortable talking about money because sometimes our pride won't allow us to do it. Because if I have to bring somebody in and have them look at my finances, then they might know that I mismanaged my money. They might know that I didn't save as much as I should have been saving. Like I've been out here shopping when I should have been saving. So a lot of times shame and pride won't allow us to do that. But in order for us to prepare for our futures, it's got to be done. It has to be done. So that probably is the first step when it comes to, us aging. Look at your finances. See where you are. Be honest about where you are. And if you need to make some adjustments, then make the necessary adjustments. If you've got to get professional help to make those adjustments, make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah, I think that's important. I have even heard some financial planners say that if it's between you, self, and putting your kids through college, you should focus on your retirement because you're going to need that money. Your kids can figure out how to pay for college later. And I know it sounds bad, but it's like you're going to be 85 years old, need full-time care. I'm making this up, right? But you spent $100,000 on your child's education, but that $100,000 can pay for a couple of years of years.
Exactly.
So those kinds of decisions and conversations can be had or need to be had. I also have heard, and I don't know if you've heard of this, where I've heard people say things like, well, as women age and they solo age, this idea of them living together, maybe say for me, I own my house and I got 3 bedrooms, maybe, Sarah and Jane, can come and live with me and we all be in here together and take care of ourselves until we can't. Then that's a different conversation, right? Yeah. Like that kind of collective economics. I wonder even if that is something we need to start having.
I think it's an option for people, but it also depends on who you are. I don't want to live with anybody. I don't. I'm going to be honest. I've been a parent since I was 16 years old. When they gone, I want them to be gone and I want to live by myself. So, so I don't want to do that. That wouldn't work for me, but I think it is an option for people like I've seen younger people do that, where they share any expenses and they share in child, you watch the kids sometimes, I watch it, things like that. I can see where it could work, but you have to be careful about that. You have to know who you are going to commune with, because if you don't, what will end up happening is you'll put more stress on yourself. And now you're talking about your mental health, your emotional health, and you don't want that to happen. So it is definitely an option, but you got to know who you're rooming with.
Yes, and definitely have your paperwork in place, because like you said, now I got to fight this lady because I don't like her no more. I gotta get her out my house.
You gotta know. You have to know. Absolutely. You gotta know.
But I think it is, like you said, it's a viable option in some instances where maybe the person doesn't have children, or maybe they don't have a home or equity or not, and they need something to happen for that. But I think this has been such a great conversation, because I mean, I can be talking, and I did last week about what I was thinking about, but it's always good to hear what other people are thinking about, and your thoughts and ideas are really, really important. And something gave me a lot to think about, even for myself. I'm blessed. I have a pension to look forward to, right? I put my time in the government, and I actually have a pension to look forward to. Now, I plan on clocking out early. I'm like, I'm not staying here till I'm 65. So my pension gonna be a little tiny, but it's a thing, right? I know it's coming, and I know I'll have health insurance, and that's great. But I have to also understand that not every woman will have that, right? Absolutely. And their life will be different, and they'll have to make different kinds of decisions. And I think just me bringing this episode out and you talking about what you were talking about is really important for us as we age, because we have more. Well, it's actually we have fewer years in front of us than we did behind us. Is that the right way to say it? Because we got an end date here, right? So we got to plan, and we're not always gonna be. I don't think we think about this. We're not always gonna be, walking around in our right mind. Some of us are blessed, and we will. My grandfather had his right mind all the way through to the end, but we just never. We don't know. We don't know.
You absolutely do not know. You do not know.
And so it's like, we just have to be ready. And I know, and I'm sure you would agree, I don't want to be a burden to my child. Hell no. Girl, live your life, please. Okay? Right. Don't be worried about me. Figure out where we going to put mama, No, I don't want that. I want to be able to take care of myself as I age. And so these are really, really important conversations. And I thank you for having it. Anything else you want to share? Can you tell people how to find your podcast as we close out?
The name of the podcast is Shades of Strong. We are Shades of Strong across all podcast platforms. We are also Shades of Strong across all social media platforms. Our website is shadesofstrong.com. I am currently doing a 30-day Me First series on the podcast, where I am encouraging Black women to really step into this Me First life, where we put ourselves back at the top of our list. And so definitely check that out, because I've had some really good conversations on there, and some tangible things that you can do to start building this Me First life, because that's going to help you as you're aging as well. You're taking care of yourself before you're taking care of everybody else, because that's what we do.
They tell you when you in the airplane and the thing come down, what they tell you,
what they say
yourself first.
Exactly.
I can't do nothing. If I can't breathe, I can't help nobody else.
Absolutely.
So first, okay. So thank you so much for being here tonight with me, Shirley. This was a fabulous episode. I'm going to go ahead and do my little closeout spiel, so don't mind me. All right, y'all. Thank you all for watching this evening. You know where to find me. I am on social media. Everything is Nicole D. Vick. On Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. I guess I have to go back to TikTok. I left TikTok alone for a minute. I'll go back at some point, y'all. My bad. You can also find me on my website, www.nicoledvick.com. You can find my merchandise there. I have a Spotify playlist of episodes that I've been on. Probably the one that I was on with Shirley is on there. So just take a look through that playlist, because I believe I added it there. You can purchase my books on my website. My first book, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. See, I'm pushing through with this ankle. My second one, Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. And my last one, Triumph in the Trenches. That is the anthology with 20 plus authors around navigating success for Black professionals. Because they be doing us wrong in the workforce, including us not getting pensions and not getting paid enough. And then that makes us have to work as we age. You see what I'm saying? So read that book, read all my books, check out my podcast episodes, and I will see you all next week. I think next week week I'm going to run a really good rerun where I had intergenerational hosts. I had Fran, who was amazing. Nomsa was on. I was on, and I think I had like a 30-something-year-old. I'm going to rerun that one because I think it actually meshes really well with what we were talking about this month. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. All right, Shirley. We're going to get up.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.